Johanna, welcome to Goom Consulting. The purpose of this company is to inspire, to motivate, and to encourage people to reach their full potential and chase their dream as well. One of our passion is to inspire people to chase their career and their dream. So I'm very privileged and happy today. I'll be interviewing one of my good friends, Majuk. Welcome to the Goom Consulting, Majuk. How are you?
How you doing, Johanna, man? I'm good, thank you very much, bro.
That's good. How's family going?
Family pretty good, man. Got kids now, 4 kids.
Wow.
Got a newborn, 6 months old.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
Wonderful.
Full on going.
Wonderful. Just a little story. Majuk and I go way back. So I know him since Melpera time. That's close to 19 years ago or so on.
Yes.
So it's been wonderful to see him back. He has a lot of inspiring stories which inspire me as well, and I'm happy that we get to talk about it today and hope the audience get encouraged by what your story and what you have accomplished.
Yeah, man.
So can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Where you been? First of all, for those who don't know you, how long you been in Australia and who's Majuk?
Alright, guys. As I said, I'm Majuk Mayan. I live here in Brisbane. Originally from north side of Brisbane, but now I've moved to Cleveland. I've got a family, 4 kids. I work full time. I'm trying to start my own business at the moment, and just living life, man. You know what I mean?
Wonderful. It's good. We're all grown up now. We have kids. We have
Yes.
families and juggling responsibilities. There's a lot of things. So that's wonderful and that's great. So if you can tell us a little bit about your career, how did you, since you left school and stuff, how did you go with work? What type of work you were doing and what you're up to now?
Oh, yeah. So when I first left school, I went first. I went and done mechanic work experience. You know what I mean? I was confused. I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I done mechanic work experience. I realized that wasn't the job for me. But my first ever job that I got was welding steel plates and painting products. It's the north side of Brisbane. It was welding. First it was cutting materials, measuring, and then I got moved on to welding, and I done that for about. I couldn't keep a job for that long back then. Still a young man. You know what I mean? Held up for about 6 months, and then after that I went into car wash. I went to G. James Glass and Aluminium. But every job then was like a year, 6 months here, there, you know what I mean? Forklift driving until about 2010, you know what I mean? I wasn't making the right choices then. I was hanging out with the wrong crowd. Got incarcerated for 2 years.
Wow.
Yes, man. So I was on hold there for a little bit. Yeah.
So in those 2 years that you've been incarcerated, when you sat there by yourself in the cell, what were your thoughts? Like, if I come out, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do different?
Yeah, well, at first, I was just very disappointed with myself. Just, you know what I mean? Like, what have I done? You know, like, what have I gotten myself into and all that sort of, you know? I had a long time to think about my life, you know, because like I was there for 18 months. Just like, you know what I mean? Like, what happened? You know what I mean? I didn't come to Australia to go to jail. You know what I mean? I came here to better myself. And I just like every day just make changes. Decided to make changes for myself, and I just started to realize what I'd done wrong. I was hanging around with the wrong crowd. I was drinking all the time, but I was also like, I had a drinking problem, and I would get violent. But I've learned in jail how to channel that the right way. You know what I mean?
That's inspiring. In life, you know, many people go through different things, and it depends how you come out on the other side.
That's right.
You have an interesting story about boxing. I've been watching you on Facebook and other stuff. How did you came to do boxing? I heard you did it a bit professionally as well.
Yes. Well, when I was in jail, you know, I decided to, one of the things I do, I wanted to better myself, you know. So actually, I did a bit of studying too in jail. I forgot to mention. I decided to use my time wisely when I was in jail. So I studied tertiary preparation program. It's called TPP. And I did boxing as well. Like, you know, I used to. One of my friends, they used to tell me like, "Hey, you're better than this. You know, you don't deserve to be in jail. You know, you've made a mistake, changed your life." So a good friend of mine, he was there for like 9 years. You know what I mean? So he encouraged me. I done a bit of training. So I've trained while I was there, and I studied. That's what I did with my time in jail for 18 months. And I graduated actually. I didn't actually finish my year 12 when I was there. I finished my year 12 in jail. You know what I mean?
Wow, that's inspiring.
Yes. It's what do you do with your time? You know what I mean? Yep. So I started training. I've trained the whole time. I said I was going to do boxing and stop drinking. So that's what I did when I got outside. I did boxing for first. I came out. I found a gym and started looking for work. You know what I mean? And I did boxing, and I found a boxing gym at PCYC Valley. And I trained there for 3 months, and I had my first amateur fight. And just kept on fighting. That's 2012. Had my first amateur fight, and then I just got better and better, and they told me, "Hey, you've got a potential." The coach told me, "I see potential in you." So I started fighting. Fought for national golden gloves 2 times actually, the national golden gloves. Southeast Queensland champion. I fought international fights. Fought interstate fights, and ended up having 21 fights.
Wow.
Which is something that I just wanted to do, just to change my life, you know what I mean? And boxing did change my life a little bit.
Wonderful, and that's inspiring story indeed, especially channeling your frustration and anger.
Yes,
boxing, doing it professionally. It is inspiring. I love watching boxing, but not boxing at all. Again,
it's a tough sport. Man.
Tough sport,
It's a tough sport. You gotta be dedicated.
Yeah.
You gotta be in it 100%. Yeah.
That's wonderful. Wonderful to hear. Now, you mentioned you have 4 kids now. So how's family life? Juggling, balancing your professional boxing or looking for work and keeping up with the family.
Yep. So the first 5 years of my career, I didn't really. We were separated. We were still together, but separated. So I would lived on the north side of Brisbane, and then I would go and see the family on the weekend. You know what I mean? So I could just focus on work, and because boxing as well, you get snappy, constantly training 2 times a day, 3 times a day.
Wow.
And then working as well, so I was constantly tired. When you're too tired, you're always snappy, you know what I mean? So I decided to live separately, but we were together for the kids, and working in our relationship as well. But now, that I'm mature enough now, you know what I mean? I get up in the morning, I go to work. After work, I'm trying to start my own little lawn mowing business.
That's actually fascinating. I was going to ask you about that as well. Do you want to tell us a bit about that? What inspired you to kind of start that small business?
Oh, that started in a funny way because so I used to work in the mines. I came back from the mines and lived with my partner. And then I decided I don't want to go back there anymore because it's just too much away from the family, and I got a young family. It's time to be there now for them, you know what I mean? I'm starting to realize what's more important, you know what I mean? The money or family. So I decided, and then I've decided, so while I was coming back, I was telling myself, hey, I can make the same amount of money. I can make the same amount of money that I used to work and make in the mine here in Brisbane. You know what I mean? So that was one of the goals. But I was searching for a way that I could do that, you know what I mean? So I would think of this and be like, no, that's not it. I'll think of this. But I went and bought a lawnmower because my partner wanted to take grass cut. But I didn't want to spend $250 on a lawnmower.
Wow.
So I spent $250 on a lawnmower, and I said, you know what? I want to get my money back by cutting other people's grass.
Wow.
That's how it all started. And one of my friends' workers like, oh yeah, man, I cut lawn mowing. And he encouraged me to do that. And he said, just go out there and you'll be surprised. So my first initial goal was to get my $250 back. So I went and posted this on a thing. Anybody looking for the yard cut, contact me, put my number there. Nothing happened the first week. And then I was like, okay. And then I was like, all right, how am I going to get this better? How am I going to get people to contact me?
Yeah.
So I made a little ad and put on Gumtree. And then I paid $3 so everybody can see it.
Yeah.
And before you know it, man, I was getting phone calls and getting quotes and so it's happening at the moment, man.
That's
a little bit slow because of the floods, but it's gonna pick up. Yep.
Great. And I've seen the post. It's very professional. You know, it designed everything. That's wonderful. It's good.
I got my partner and a friend to help me out.
Help you, yep.
Yes. I'm not gonna take no credit, just in case she's watching this.
That's wonderful. And family working together. It's the key. Now, you mentioned a bit. We talk a bit about yourself, about your career, about the business you're doing. You want to tell us a bit about your life change? You've changed 360. There's something happened. So what changed in the last few years that you became, you family focused, you're doing all these different things? What changed?
Well, so in order for me to say that, I must say something else.
Yes.
What changed? Oh man, this is a little bit, So after retiring from boxing, after stopping boxing, I was working hard, man. I was working hard, constantly working hard. I would leave home at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning. I was always a hard worker. I always did things the right way. But I was I would go and fight, but I would start getting, because I got to elite, fighting the elite. Boxing is like a corrupt sport. It's a corrupt sport, and I would fight these guys. It goes the distance. I won that fight, but they'll give it to me. That happened like 5 or 6 times, you know what I mean? So that messed me up mentally, and I was like, man, oh man, I was like real messed up. This is what I love, man. Some fights I should have won. So slowly, I started just losing focus. I got discouraged and decided to take. So I took a step away from boxing, and then the drinking came, and then I was introduced to cocaine. And I just loved it the first time I tried it. I snorted. I just loved it. I felt great. You know what I mean? And then I started doing it regularly, every weekend, every week. I started doing that. And then I started doing it twice a week, and then I started doing it 3 times a week. And then all of a sudden I was like, didn't have much money, you know what I mean? Because cocaine costs about $300 a gram, which is about that much. It's not, it's very small. I started using it 4 times a week, and then I didn't have any money, so I was like, all right, what are we gonna do? Because I like cocaine. See, the thing about me is, what I want, I always come up with a way to get it. You know what I mean?
Find a way, eh?
I always find a way. You know what I mean? So I was like, all right, what can we do here? So I was like, I'm gonna start selling weed to make that extra money while I work at the same time. So I started doing a bit of weed. Before you know it, it grew. You know what I mean? It grew, and I was supplying to everybody. And then after that, I got too greedy, and I was like, with this business, you know what I mean? Greed, you know what I mean? It's all part of it. And I wasn't happy with what I had. I wasn't happy with what I was, so I decided so I told myself, why sell weed and then go and buy cocaine? You can just sell cocaine and then you can have it, and it costs you nothing. So So I started selling cloak, and then before you know it, it grew as well, to a point where I was earning like $7,000 a night. But I started using $2,000 a night, you know what I mean?
Wow.
And I did that for the first 6 months. It was first 3 months. I was like, yeah, I want to quit because I want to get back to boxing. And then 6 months came, and then I started asking myself questions like, oh man, like why can't I stop this? You know? And then I was doing it every day, 7 days a week. And then it just got to a point where I was like, I just didn't like it anymore. I felt sick. I felt sick without it. You know, I had to have it to feel just a little bit above normal. You know what I mean? And then eight months in, I started like, oh, I don't want this anymore. You know what I mean? But I couldn't stop. You know what I mean? I would
the
go.
Addiction
The addiction. You gotta have it, otherwise, I'll have body aches. I'll be laying there, my body's aching, and I'd go 4 days without it. My body would ache, and then I was like, no. And then I'll go, you know what I mean? I'll try to rehab. Even I've seen one of your videos when you first starting.
Oh yeah, you did talk to me about it. The one I did.
Because I come across your videos. You're saying, I come across your video saying the choices that you make is what lead. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was watching that, and so there's quite a few things that I've seen. I've seen your video.
Yeah.
I've seen video of Dio. My sister Lut was talking about God, and sort of like just like it all. You know what I mean? It was like, man, like what am I doing here? Like this, you know what I mean? I started questioning what I was doing, and then eventually I just want. It was just a 3 month battle. And then the worst thing is I couldn't snort anymore. Then I started smoking it, and that you get high. 8 seconds, you know, and it lasts 10 minutes, and then you gotta smoke again and get high again, but it's just not the same. And then I start seeing things, you know what I mean? Like I start,
hallucination.
Yeah, well, you know, but a lot of people say it's hallucination, but I'm pretty sure what I seen that night, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would say I seen a demon, you know what I mean?
Wow.
Because every time I went to smoke in the bathroom,
Yeah.
I would see shadows outside, like, because the light was on and I would see shadows outside, and I ran outside and I seen this big shadow there. And when I see this big shadow, I kept on asking, like, hey, what are you doing here? I kept talking to it, and they would talk back, but I couldn't really understand what it was saying. And then I took a closer look, and I had a looked in the face, I seen it was a demon. As soon as it reached my brain it was a demon, it disappeared. So that's when I was like, okay, I'm doing something wrong here. And then I started just watching my sister more. I started watching Dio more and all that sort of stuff. And then I was invited to church. So I called Samson and all that. I didn't call them. My sister organized it. They came and prayed for me, and I decided to change my ways, man. For 6 weeks, the addiction was there still. But one thing I've done is I accepted Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior, and that day I was set free instantly, man.
Amen.
So that was a big event.
Amen. Very, very powerful testimony and encouragement indeed. It's inspiring that, you know, as humans, we know that we're spiritual beings, and seeing other things in the spirit, it does happen. So it's not something that we create and think they don't exist.
Yep.
So it's very powerful testimony indeed. And indeed, the Lord changed your life. And
Yep.
you know, sometimes I would say it myself as Christian, sometimes you look at certain people and like, so would not change. I'm not going to share the Bible. But what message do you have for those who are resistant? They don't want to share the good news with others. So I'm just thinking, hold back. Or scared a bit, they think, oh, so and so is not going to change. Why bother? Talk to them. What's that?
So what's the question again? What do I have for those?
So what encouragement you have? For example, as you mentioned, there's a lot of people are struggling out there and going through different things.
Yep, they are. Yep.
So for those who are a bit resistant, holding to themselves, they're not sharing that good news or not outreaching out there. What?
Well, first of all, what I found is like, you know, I know it's a bit uncomfortable trying to go out there and tell people about God and about the good news, about the gospel. But when you reach out, in the onset of that, when you reach out when you're uncomfortable and you reach out, that's where you'll find the Comforter, which is the Holy Spirit. You know what I mean? Because I feel like sometimes I don't want to. The Holy Spirit will tell me, just pass on the word to this guy. You know what I mean? And I'll be like, from then I would step out and just tell him, and the guy would be like, you know, I could see them like. They were so thankful that I spoke to them, you know what I mean? But all you gotta do is just be available and step out, you know what I mean? It is the Holy Spirit that is doing the work, you know what I mean? So I just encourage, just step out in faith and you'll meet the comfort of the Holy Spirit.
Indeed. We're close to wrapping up the interview. It's been a wonderful pleasure hearing your story and from rising from the ashes to where you are today. And if also you can give an encouragement to someone out there that been looking for work for a while, they haven't found a job and they trying to go to school but they don't think school is for them or stuff like that. What encouragement can you give them for them to continue or to seek out?
For those that are looking for jobs.
Looking for jobs, yeah.
Yep. Just keep applying for jobs. Maybe change your resume around a little bit if no one is really getting back to you. You know what I mean? Because I was like that too. I would apply but this is, you know. Now I would, because like the experience that I have, I would apply to get a job within 24 hours. But like, you know what I mean? Just change your resume around. You know what I mean? Have references. That's another thing to look at. But once you have a job, try keeping the job for about over 12 months. These are the things that employers look at as well. And get certificates, you know what I mean? Like tickets. A lot of people are looking for that these days, you know what I mean? It depends in whatever role that you're, whatever industry that you want to work in. Just get the tickets because these tickets, they'll help you and bump you up. You'll stand out above everyone.
Indeed. It's definitely.
But most importantly, you don't get anything back. Apply more the next day. You know what I mean? Like, you know, don't give up. Just keep going. You know what I mean?
Keep going. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Last thing, as a family man, as a dad, do you have dad's jokes? Do you cook at home and stuff like that? How do you?
You know, I don't know how to cook. That's something I gotta do. I gotta learn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can cook steak, but they don't want me to cook for them for some reason. I offer to cook, but they're like, no, it's okay.
Yeah.
I don't have any dad jokes, but they just they think I'm just funny. Because my partner think I'm funny. You know, my kids think I'm funny. My daughter think I'm embarrassing.
Yeah. That's wonderful.
Yeah, I don't have jokes, man. I'm just a natural, man. You know?
Natural, yeah. That's the way it comes spontaneously. That's the key. So thank you very much. We're wrapping up. It's been a pleasure having you today. I'm sure many people out there they heard of these stories and they're inspired to seek their own stories and seek and never giving up. Whether
never
they find
give up.
family
Yes,
and
never
stuff.
give up. That's one thing you cannot do, man. You cannot give up.
Indeed. Thank you